Here's how this sounds. The year is 1967. I'm 7 years old, wearing a little blue jacket that says Minnesota Twins on the sleeves, and heading to first grade at St. Stephen's School in Anoka, Minnesota. In those days, there was no bus service for Catholic school kids, and moms had to take turns hauling kids in from the country. Mrs. Cummer has picked me up in a green Plymouth station wagon, and I'm stuffed in the way back to join 8 other children. To my right is a smiling boy with a Beatles mop-top haircut. His name is Snooky Sullivan, and he tells me right away that he is a child model. I don't believe you, I said. I am too. Go home and look at your cootie game. I'm on the box. It is hard to pay attention to him. Everyone in the car seems to be talking at once, and the twins, Kurt and Carl Cummer, are being bad, mussing with one another's hair. I want to say something to impress Snooky, and if I were clairvoyant, I surely might. I could tell him that in 5 years, he and I will get in a seaweed fight at the Coon Rapids Hydroelectric Dam, that I will lose my balance, fall off the spillway, and barely be saved from drowning. Fisherman, daredevil. I could tell him his modeling career would be derailed by acne, that in high school he would run with the wrong crowd, die in a car crash before graduation, and so forth. But none of this has happened yet, and besides, we are driving onto the sunlit asphalt of the playground. Now I think you see what I'm up to here. I'm trying to demonstrate an idea by Francis Christensen and Walker Gibson. The first artifact of prose that you heard from that fancy pants graduate school paper was me being formal, being academic, being scholarly, whatever you want to call it. If you go off to graduate school, someday you're going to find out that the idea of graduate school is to speak and write in ways that are completely incomprehensible. If you go, you'll see it'll be years before you sound like a human being again. And sounding like a human being is exactly what I wanted to do in this memoir. I wanted to write it in an accessible, plain voice. I just wanted it to be different. Now, these are 2 voices that I have, but I've got more than 2. I have many different voices, and I'm trying to communicate to you that you have many different voices as a writer too. And part of what Comp 1 and Comp 2 and other classes like this are about is helping you discover your own voices. You're probably using a different voice in your journal than you are in the papers that you write for this class. The persuasive paper, for instance, probably had a different voice than the last round of journal entries, right? We have different masks, we have different personas. I should point out too that one of the reasons why this is a memoir and not an autobiography is because an autobiography, in that genre, you're obligated to be very factual and true to memory. Who wants to be constrained? I wanted to write a memoir, which gave me a little bit of elbow room, withhold the truth, embellish a little bit. I didn't want to lie, but I also wanted to aspire to literature. Now, on this first page, just to tell you the little secret, almost everything really is true. There really it was a Snooky Sullivan. He really was on the cootie game. I found out when I got home, when I ran up to my bedroom. There he was on the box. Check it out. You can look at it right on this video. Kurt Cummer, there was a Kurt and a Carl Cummer. I did almost drown at the Coon Rapids Hydroelectric Dam. But Snooky didn't die in a fiery car crash. Why I killed him off on the first page of my memoir is something I can't even explain. It'll be a little bit embarrassing if the several publishers that are considering putting this on shelves in Barnes & Noble, etc. If Snooky picks that up and finds out that I killed him off, he's probably out there. I hope he's out there darting about with cunning and vigor. But anyway, now that I've demonstrated that, let's move in the next video towards some further consideration about what people do at the level of the sentence. You know, I'm so abstract, random, my head's up in the clouds most of the time, and I really want to, in the next video, roll up my sleeves and give you some more practical demonstrations on what we do, what we think about when we, what we talk about when we talk about sentences. In the next video, I'm going to sort of tell you about what happened some weeks ago at Central Lakes College. I'm going to send a bunch of students to the board, the whiteboard, so to speak, gave them markers and said, please write 1 sentence, and your subject is Student Success Day. I had done that experiment before. I'm no prophet. I'm definitely a non-genius, but I knew pretty much exactly what they were going to do when they got up to that whiteboard. And I want to tell you all about it. It's actually going to be kind of a lesson on sentence openers. And I also got to tell you a story about our cameraman here. He's 17, but really wowed me way back in about 1997 when he was sitting in his high chair with pesto rubbed all over his little bowling ball head. And so I got a story for you. I got some more demonstrations, and the sun's coming out. Maybe we'll shoot this later on in the afternoon. I've got to cut a little firewood first. Thanks for listening to this lesson.